As you can tell by the intro, as you can tell by the title, today's video is so exciting and it is my most requested video. So today we are talking all about my favorite pens and planner supplies, all the things that I personally love to use in my own planner. I love pens, I love stationery, I always have. As a little kid, I remember going into art stores and just always looking at the display of pens and markers and craft supplies. That's always been who I am. I do have a bit of an extensive pen collection. I know it is a lot. This video is by no means saying you need to have a collection this large, or if you have a larger collection, that's fine. If you only want one set of pens, like that is a-okay. I just happen to really like pens, but I don't want you to feel pressured to have a big collection or think you need to have a big collection in order to be a planner. You could get away with just a single pen if you really wanted to. It's all about you and your preference. I also wanted to just acknowledge that there are pens in my collection that I use for like a single purpose. I know that's kind of crazy, but it's just the way I like to do things. But in case you're looking for a good set of pens, or if you're looking for something in particular, I really hope you enjoy watching this video. I hope you get some great pen suggestions. I will leave links to all of the pens down below. Some of them will be through my Amazon affiliate link, so just so you are aware, I do get a very small commission if you purchase the pens through that link, but you are not required to do so. I just wanted to put it out there that they will be linked below. Not all of them are on Amazon. I also wanted to acknowledge that these pens I get from a variety of different places. Personally, I do shop on Amazon. I go to my local Michaels or Staples, although I haven't been in the last year. I also order online sometimes through companies like JetPens if you are in the US or you aren't afraid to pay a lot of shipping fees. JetPens is a fantastic resource for pens. This is not sponsored by them. I just really love all of their pens. I know some of these pens might be more difficult to get based on where you are located. I just wanted to make a video showcasing my collection and all the pens I like to use. If you're familiar with my own products, these are all the pens and supplies that I use and love. I do have a couple of quick disclaimers before we get into the heart of the video and talk about all my favorite pens. Firstly, I wanted to mention that this year there are a couple of repeats in this video. That's just because I really like them and wanted to mention them again, but if there is a pen in my previous video that I didn't mention in this video, it doesn't mean I don't like it anymore. I just had so many pens to mention this year. I do still stand behind my previous versions of this video. I still love all of those pens. I still use all of those pens, but there will be a couple of repeats, and it's just because I'm still constantly using those pens, and I wanted to just mention them again. Secondly, I wanted to mention, when I talk about pens, the most common question I get is, does it bleed through the paper? That's a tricky question for me to answer, mostly because everybody writes differently, uses different pressure. There's a lot of factors that go into whether a pen will bleed or not. Pressure is just one of them. How you hold the pen is another one. What you're writing and like how you're writing. There's a lot of different factors. The pens that I use don't bleed for me and how I use them. So just because a pen works for me doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. I just wanted to preface this video with that. I also wanted to say that these pens, the ones that I've picked, obviously are my favorites. These are all based on my personal preferences and experiences. This is not like a promoted video at all. These are all my own thoughts and feelings on the pens. And if you happen to really dislike one of these pens, that's okay. We're all allowed to like different things. We do have a lot of pens and planner supplies to go over today. I'm really excited to talk about all of them with you. I hope you enjoy watching this video. I hope you get some awesome pen recommendations. I hope maybe you find a new favorite or you see your favorite in this video. I would love if you would tell me what your favorite pens and planner supplies are down below. If you want to see what my favorite pens and planner supplies have been in 2020, just keep watching. So we're going to start off talking about my favorite gel pens of 2020. I felt like 2020 was the year that I really discovered my love of gel pens. I started off the year using something different, but by the end I was using gel pens pretty much every single day. So these are some of my favorites. So first up is the Pentel EnerGel. This is a pen that I mentioned really briefly last year, but I got a set of 8 this year in the 0.7 tip size, and I really like these. I think I like the black most of all, but I do like the option of having the different colors. These pens are very smooth, they're very vibrant, and they are also smudge resistant and they don't bleed through the page. So I mostly use these on the weekly spreads to make my to-do lists or on the blank calendar page. Next is a pen that's in the same family as the Energels, but is just slightly different. So this is the Energel Selena, and I really like this pen. I think it might be one of my new favorites. It is a 0.5 millimeter tip, which is very different for me, but I really like this. It's really smooth. It has a needle tip, so it's really easy to see where you're writing, and it has all of the benefits of the Energel, but I just really like the look of it and the feel of it. Next is another repeat. This is the Papermate Inkjoy gel pen. I have a set of 10 and these are 0.7 millimeter tip. I really like how smooth these are. They're also very vibrant. They don't bleed and they highlight well. Again, I mostly use just the black, but I do like having the options of the colors, especially the yellow, because I use that one for the star ratings. So I mostly use these pens on the weekly spreads for to-do lists or on the calendars, or like I mentioned on the star ratings with the yellow pen. Next up is the Pilot G2. I have the 0.7 millimeter tip. I got a set of 10 and this is a new discovery this year, and they're a really good pen. They're not my favorite, but I do have a specific use for them. They're very vibrant, they're smudge resistant, they won't bleed through, but I actually don't use these that much for writing in the planner. I don't know why, because they are a good pen, but I think I like some other pens slightly more. But I do use these on the daily pages red graph that I make. I use these on the bar graph as all the different colors, and I color code each book, and so I really like them for that reason. So here's a couple of examples of the different bar graphs that I use. I know I could use a different pen that I already own, but for some reason I'm really drawn to the Pilot G2s for making these bar graphs, and because I have them, I want to use them. So you don't have to use them for that, but I really like them for those reasons. Next up are the Tool gel pens. I think I'm saying that right. I got a pack of 14 in the 0.7 millimeter tip. Again, these are new to me. They are pretty hard to get outside of the US. If you're in the US, they're pretty easy to get your hands on. They are a great pen. Definitely a new favorite for me. I use these all the time. They're very smooth, very vibrant. I also really like all of the colors. They are very inky, so they could smudge if you are a lefty or don't let it dry, but I haven't had too many issues with it. Personally, I use these on the daily pages, calendars, on the TBR page. I really like these pens. I am really glad I discovered them this year. Next, we're going to be talking about the Zebra Sarasa pens. I have a bunch of different types of these pens, and we're going to go through all of them. This is ones that I briefly mentioned last year that I really like again. They don't smudge, they highlight really well, they're vibrant, they're very smooth, and they won't bleed through the page. I mostly use these on the daily pages or on the daily pages red graph. If I don't use my Pilot G2s, I'll use these if I'm looking for a specific color or shade. They're a really great pen, they're very smooth, and they don't smudge, so if you're a lefty, these are a great option in my opinion. So I really like these ones. I did extend my Zebra Sarasa collection this year, so these are the vintage set. I have the vintage set number 2. It is a set of 5. I really like these colors. They're very different and unique. The gray one is really nice, as well as the camel color. These are very similar. They are a smaller tip size, so these are 0.5. But overall, I really like them. Again, they don't smudge, awesome colors, great quality, and they're really nice. I like these ones especially for writing reviews. The sepia black and the dark gray are really nice. And I just really like the unique colors, and it's just like a pretty standard pen, but overall they're very smooth, so I liked them. Next in the Sarasa family is the Zebra Sarasa Dry. This pen is formulated especially for left-handed people. It is supposed to be the fastest drying gel pen. I have to agree, it is very fast drying. It's also just a great little pen. There's nothing like fancy about it, but I really like it. It's really smooth. It's very crisp. This is the 0.5 millimeter tip. I don't use this pen that often, but when I do use it, I really enjoy it, so I just wanted to quickly mention it. The last pen in the Sarasa family I'm going to mention is the Zebra Sarasa Mark On pen. This pen is specially formulated to work really well with highlighters. I have to agree, it highlights really well. Like the previous Sarasa pen I mentioned, there's nothing like stand out about this except for the highlighting qualities, but it's a really nice pen overall. It writes really smooth, it's really crisp and black, and I just really like using this on my daily pages. Next up is the Sharpie S Gel. This is the 0.7 millimeter version. This is my newest edition, so I haven't used it that much, but I will say it is very smooth. It's great for writing reviews or just taking notes. It can smudge a little bit, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you're left-handed, but overall it's a really great black pen. I do think they have a few other colors, but not a lot. Next, we have the Uniball Sino Dx Pen. This is a 0.38 millimeter pen, so it's a very small tip. This pen I only have in black, but there are a lot of colors available. It is really smooth for how thin it is. It does smudge if you don't let it dry, as it is like a typical gel pen, but it's great for details. I use this pen for very specific purposes. I use it on the titles on the bookshelf page, or for writing page counts on the wrap-up page on the graph for my daily pages read page, or for writing on stickers because it's so thin. Next is actually the same type of pen, but just a bigger tip size. So this is a Uniball Sino, that's the UM153. As I said, it is the same as the previous pen, but it's a bigger tip, so it is 1.0 millimeter tip. It's very vibrant, very smooth, but also very inky, so you do have to let it dry or else it will smudge. I use these, again, for very specific purposes. I use it on the blank bookshelf page for titles, on stickers, or sometimes if I just feel like doodling, but I am aware that it does have to dry. These pens are also really nice just for writing in general because of how smooth they are. They're great for lettering as well, but I would not recommend them if you're left-handed because they will smudge because they're so inky. So this is the white version of the Uniball Sino pen. As I said, it is a 1.0 millimeter tip, so this pen is a little bit thicker. I do use this sometimes on the blank bookshelf page, but because of the tip size, it is a little bit harder to write, but it's a very vibrant white pen, so I do like to use it. Speaking of white gel pens, this is my favorite white gel pen. I know some people have had issues with it, but I personally don't. This is the Roll O08. It's my favorite white gel pen. I use it on the blank bookshelf for the titles and for accents on lettering. Takes a little bit of time getting used to how this writes. As you can tell in this clip, it doesn't look as vibrant as the Uniball Sino pen, but when I use it over colored pencil, it is vibrant. So I haven't had any issues with it personally, but it takes some time getting used to how it writes. Next, we're going to be talking about some small brush pens. I love using small brush pens for adding some lettering in my planners, or for doing book titles on checklists or the TBR page. And I have two sets to share with you today. First up is a pen that I have mentioned multiple times in all my favorite pen videos. It's the pen I use probably the most frequently. That is the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. This is the set of 10 colors. This is by far my favorite brush pen to use in the planner. I just love the way they write. I love the colors. It's very beginner friendly. And I use these on TBR pages, new releases pages, the daily pages, the A to Z challenge, or pretty much anywhere I want to do some lettering. They're just a great overall pen. I also think they're really great for beginners because of the hard nib. It's a little bit more user friendly. So here's some examples of how I have used them in my planner. The second set I want to talk about is a new set to me this year, and that is the Pilot Fude-Makase. I got an 8-pack of these. This is the extra fine tip. I really like how small the nib is, which makes it really easy to write with. The colors are very vibrant and very smooth, but these pens are a little bit more inky, so they are more prone to smudging or shadowing. I will also mention that these pens specifically are more prone to bleeding if you press too hard, so you do have to be very careful with them. But I like using them on the TBR page. I've used them on stickers before and not had any problems, so they're overall a really great pen and a nice alternative to the other set I mentioned. Next up, we're going to talk all about highlighters. I'm only going to talk about one brand of highlighter, but two different types of this highlighter. These are actually a mild highlighter, hence the name. These are the Zebra Mild Liners. I have the chisel tip and the brush tip. The brush tip is new to me this year, but they've become a quick favorite, especially the gray one. I am obsessed with it. I really like them. You can even letter with the brush side of the other ones. I do want to get some more colors. These highlighters, as the name entails, are very mild with the colors, but there are a ton of colors available. I recommend going with the lighter colors in the planner, as some of the darker pen colors can bleed through the page more, but as I mentioned, this gray one is my absolute favorite. Next, we're going to talk about colored pencils. You may be familiar with the ones I'm going to be talking about. I love using colored pencils in my planner, specifically on the blank bookshelf page or in some of the coloring pages provided. I know not everyone likes using colored pencils, but I get asked a lot which ones I recommend. So these are the ones I have always recommended because they're the only ones I use. So these are the Prismacolor Premiere. I have the 72 pack. I know they are pricey, but for me, they are worth it. They're very smooth. They're so buttery and vibrant. They blend together so well. I think of them a bit as an investment because I've been using this pack for years and years and still have so much more use in them. I also think that I take my coloring a bit more seriously than you need to. So if you don't want to invest in them, you definitely don't have to. And there are definitely cheaper alternatives out there. I have heard really good things about the Amazon Basics 72 pack. It is a knockoff of the Prismacolor Premiere. They're very similar, but much, much cheaper. I have not personally tried them, so I can't stand behind them. I use the Prismacolor Premiere, but you could definitely look into the Amazon Basics if you're looking for a cheaper alternative. And finally, I wanted to very quickly mention some things I like to have on hand when I'm planning, starting off with some whiteout, a pencil sharpener. This is just a very cheap metal one, a 6-inch ruler, some scissors, and some washi tape. The scissors are for the washi tape. These scissors are incredibly broken, so please don't mind those. And I also just like to have some stickers on hand. These are ones from my own shop, but there are tons of sticker shops out there where you can add a little bit of fun to your planner. Okay, so that is it. Those are all of my favorite pens and planner supplies from 2020. I know there was a lot, but I discovered so many new pens and supplies this year, and I felt like I really tried to push myself to try new things and not get stuck in my same old favorites. I have rediscovered old favorites and found new ways to use pens I didn't really think I liked, but turned out I absolutely love and consistently use now every single day. So it's been a really awesome year for pens. I've really enjoyed all of the pens that I have used. I can't wait to see the pens I discover in 2021. As I mentioned before, I would love to hear from you guys. What are your favorite pens? What are your favorite supplies? Leave a comment down below and let me know. I hope you have a very happy holiday if you celebrate. Stay safe and stay well, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.